Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Of course, starting off in a rather unusual location for this series, we're on top of my yacht right now. And this is of course because yachts are discounted this week. They're going to be 40% off, which is it's a pretty good discount on a very questionable item that you probably should very seriously consider buying before you purchase it, because there are not many positives to owning one. I'll just go ahead and say that off the bat. But before we talk about any more discounts, anything like that, drop a like on the video if you want to help me out. I really appreciate it. The likes help these videos get out to new audiences and things like that, and help more people. Also consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new, of course. And without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start off with the money bonuses going on this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. So first off, we have a new weekly challenge this week, and that challenge is to complete 3 Super Yacht Life contact missions. If you complete this, you will get a bonus $100,000 in online, which is okay, I guess. Now, those very missions this week are on double money, so they're double money and double RP, and they're going to be launched through the yacht. You need to own a yacht in order to play them, which is kind of brutal. They don't pay very well either, in case you were wondering. Now, we also have double money and double RP on shipwrecks, which are going to be found obviously underneath the surface of the water around the San Andreas area. And we also have double money and double RP on the Tiny Racers adversary mode, which has been added back into the game this week. This is actually a fairly fun one, but I mean, unless you're a low level, it's not really going to be super worth playing. So for most people, I would sadly say to avoid this, unless you just want to try it out, because it is a good bit of fun. But other than that, it's not really going to pay the bills. Now, probably, sadly, the best money bonus of the week is going to be triple money on taxi work. So if you're like a lower level, this is going to be a pretty good way to get some money relatively quickly, as well as get good at driving in the game. But yeah, so if you're a higher level player, you have businesses, things like that, just run them like you normally would, because there's no bonuses going on this week that are going to be worth your while to do. So definitely something to keep in mind for sure, if you even want to log in this week, which if you don't, I completely understand. We'll go ahead and start off on Docktease with the super yachts. There are 3 different variations of the yachts. There's the Orion, there is the Pisces, and there is the Aquarius. Basically, they're essentially all the same. The Pisces is, I believe, the lowest end one. Or sorry, no, the Orion is the lowest end one. Pisces is the middle of the road, and the Aquarius is the top of the line. Now with these, you get different variations of things. The Orion, for example, does not get the top helicopter pad. It gets one down here, and it does not come with a helicopter. The Pisces does come with a Swift, as well as the pool and the front helipad, as well as this arrangement of boats, which looks to be a dinghy, 2 jet skis, and I believe a Toro. And the Aquarius comes with 4 jet skis, a dinghy, a Toro, and a Super Velito, which is a slightly better version of the Swift. It also comes with the pool and the front landing pad on it. Other than that, cosmetically, like there's some small differences, but other than that, there's nothing different about these boats. Now you can have the different fittings, you can do all of this stuff, you can do the different lighting, all of that. You can color the boat differently. You can also name it, and that's about it. Now, I guess technically this is a property discount, and this is where we're going to get into why you should not buy a yacht. So normally the most expensive variant of the yacht would be $10 million. So this week it will be $6 million. Roughly, if you want to get the highest end yacht, which I don't really even recommend in the first place. I would say if you're going to get one, maybe you just get the Pisces, because it comes with the Swift, and it's honestly just as cool. They're all kind of the exact same. The Orion sucks too. So they all suck, basically, is where I'm kind of going with this. There are some utility things like the yacht defenses that they come with, which you can use to defend your yacht from aircraft and things like that. So it is a relatively safe place. But so is the inside of an apartment. So yeah, there is a money-making opportunity with it, and that is piracy prevention, which is going to be launched through the CEO jobs menu. That'll pay 30 grand for 10 minutes of your time, so not exactly good by 2025 standards. And probably the biggest drawback with the yacht is that you cannot drive it. It's not like the Kasatka where you can move it around. The yacht is a stationary object on the map. It is technically a property. It does not move or anything like that. Now, you can change the location in which your yacht sits to a bunch of different places around the map for $25,000 a pop. It's kind of really ignorant, and I don't recommend getting a yacht. They're really not fun. I've had mine for a long time at this point. This is the first time I've been to my yacht in probably a year, probably since the last time I talked about the yacht. So like probably a year or more. They're really not useful, and I would absolutely avoid buying one. But I thought that I should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about them. I would absolutely avoid buying a yacht. That is my final thoughts on it. Moving over to Legendary Motorsport, we have the Gallivanter Baller ST discounted this week for $400,000 if you have the trade price, or $534,000 if you don't. I don't think that either of these prices are like horrible for the vehicle that you're getting. However, the Gallivanter Baller STD exists now, which is a faster, better version of the regular Baller ST, and you can also put Imani Tech upgrades on it, like the missile lock-on jammer and the oil slick proximity mine dropper. There's a lot more money, but it is a lot more worth it. The ST has a pretty bad understeer issue. However, customization wise, it is pretty good. So if you want it just to customize it, I don't think this is a bad price for what you're getting. It still is a fairly good performing SUV. It still looks great and everything like that. But I definitely think the STD is the better baller of the two. And I would wait for that to go on sale personally before I was buying one of them. But if you want both, or if you just like the ST for some reason, now is definitely a good time to get it. Especially if you have the trade price for 400 grand, you really can't go wrong for this vehicle. But 534, it's like a little bit less worth it, obviously, but still, it's a fairly cool vehicle. I would say if you want one, or if you're especially interested in one, I would get one. If you don't really care and you would just be buying it sort of just to have it, I don't really recommend the Baller ST. I think there's better things you could buy, probably this week even. There's another vehicle discounted this week, which is the Anis Euros for $810,000. That is with the trade price. Without the trade price, it's probably going to be about 1.2 million, I would say. The Euros is a car that is kind of disappointed me pretty greatly over the years. It does have drift tuning available for it if that does interest you, which of course drift tuning was 30% off last week. So great that we have this discounted the following week. Thanks, Rockstar. The Euros is not a car that I would recommend. I don't think it's especially good, even for $800,000. It is based off the Nissan 370Z, which is a fairly cool car in real life, but in-game it will leave you with something to be desired. It is just kind of a letdown in comparison to the 370Z in real life. I don't really think it's going to be worth whatever the prices are that you're going to pay for it, whether that's 800 grand or about 1.2 mil, like I said. I just don't really think it's worth it, so I would avoid the Anis Euros this week. It does have a lot in the way of customization, and if you like particularly love the 370, you may want to consider purchasing it, but just know I love the 370 as well, and I was still disappointed with the Euros, so do with that information what you will. We also have the Vapid Flash GT discounted this week for $1,005,000. I absolutely do not recommend purchasing this vehicle this week. It does have engine resistance, which makes it a lot slower than it should be. It also stunts the acceleration and makes the top speed pretty bad. So overall, it's just not really a great performance vehicle, especially for the money. It also does not have that much in the way of customization. And if you were wondering if you can make it more of like a street version, or if it has to be this like sort of rally spec Ford Focus RS, it has to be the rally spec. You cannot remove the roll cage. You cannot take any of this sort of stuff off the car. It is just purely a rally car, and it's not a very good one at that. I wanted to like this thing a lot. In fact, in my last customization, I actually did end up liking it quite a bit, but I still just do not think it is worth the money. $1,005,000 is way too much. Unless you were gonna buy this thing at some point, regardless of what anyone says about it, now definitely is a good time to purchase it because it is discounted, but I still don't recommend it to anybody who is not especially looking for a Flash GT. And of course, we also have the Overflawed Autark discounted this week for $1,173,000. Now, honestly, this thing does have pretty great performance for this price tag. If you want a supercar that's got some decent customization, great handling, good top speed, fairly good looking vehicle as well, this is actually not a bad one to purchase. However, there are better cars that you can get kind of for the money, in my opinion, like the Zentorno, even at full price for $725,000. I still kind of think it's a better car than the Autark in general. This thing is rear wheel drive. It's basically like a track toy. It feels super light. The handling is great though. and everything like that. I would say this is kind of an acquired taste of a vehicle. If you want like a nice, car to drive, a good driver's car, I think the Autark is a good car to purchase, especially for this price. But if you're not especially interested in that and you don't really like supercars or anything like that, it's kind of a take it or leave it. If you really are interested in it, now is definitely a good time to purchase it. But if you don't really care, it's nothing too special, so you could probably avoid it if you don't especially care. On Southern San Andreas Super Autos, we got the BF Weevil and the Declassy Drift Yosemite, both discounted this week. The Drift Yosemite has a drift tuning mod that you can put on it through the LS Car Meet, and the BF Weevil can be upgraded into the Benny's BF Weevil Custom, which is the highest non-HSW top speed car in the game, short of the Banshee GTS. Other than that though, it is really fast. So if you play on like Xbox 360 or PS4, you don't have HSW, this is actually a pretty fast car. Still, the Banshee is going to be better in every way, but if you want something for just pure straight line speed, it's okay, especially for the money. Now, do I think it's worth it? No. You can also get a free BF Weevil by completing a certain mission. I cannot remember what it is off the top of my head. It's the English Dave missions. If you do the English Dave missions, you can get a free BF Weevil. So I would recommend just doing that instead of purchasing one. That's going to be your best bet if you do want one of these. If you were going to purchase one of these, I would advise you not to, because I just don't think it's worth it. As far as the Drift Yosemite goes, it's my least favorite of the drift tunable cars in the game. I think that it's a little bit too big to drift effectively, especially just on the streets of Los Santos. You're going to run into a lot of things with this vehicle. Customization wise, it does have some stuff you can do to it. It's obviously got the turbo sticking out of the hood, which is pretty cool looking. It's a neat concept for a vehicle. I just think it's a little bit overpriced. Now, that being said, if you do want it, if you don't care about any of that, now is definitely a good time to purchase it. I can't remember the last time this thing was discounted. So if you do want one, now is definitely going to be the time to buy it. But should you buy it if you don't really care about it or aren't especially interested in it in the first place? I would say probably not. And we also have the Declassy Hot Ring Sabre discounted this week as well. Now, out of the Hot Ring cars, this is no longer the fastest. I believe the Hellfire Hot Ring is the fastest. So the Hot Ring Sabre is at a slight disadvantage off the bat. However, it is very cheap, less than 500k for the non-trade price and 373 for the trade price. If you have the trade price unlocked, I would say the value's there if you wanted to do hot ring races. But in free mode, this car is not especially good. It has absolutely zip for customization, other than a bunch of different liveries. So if you're interested in the liveries, that's cool for sure. But overall, I would say it's kind of not really worth it, but it is a cheap way to get a hot ring car. So if you want a custom hot ring car, it's not a bad way to get one. But I would say generally for most people, with how often hot ring races are being played and stuff, I just don't really think it's worth it, to be honest. You're not getting much value even out of the customization. So I really don't think this vehicle is worth buying, unless, again, you really just want one. So in that case, buy it for sure. But for most of you, I would advise against that. And last but not least, we have the Dinka Vito Modern discounted by 40% off this week. $597,000 for a go-kart. Bit of a ripoff in my opinion. I do not think you should buy one of these. I simply don't recommend it. It's fun, it's cool, it's a fun little novelty item to use once with your buddies or something like that. Other than that, no, just avoid it. Within the casino this week, the podium vehicle is the Vapid GB200. This is a pretty awesome one, and I definitely would recommend trying to win it this week. Alright guys, and the prize ride within the LS Car Meet this week is the Dubachi Spectre, and in order to win that, you are going to have to place first in an LS Car Meet Series race this week. So if you have a friend to play with, definitely play it with them. Get a free Spectre. This thing's pretty cool. It also has a Benny's upgrade available for it, which is cool as well. Pretty awesome vehicle, just generally, I would say. As far as the vehicles in the car meet, we have the Coquette Blackfin on the left, we have the Dubachi JB700 on the middle, and we have the Canis Seminole Frontier on the right. Seminole Frontier this week is $678,000. This thing's got a lot of customization. It's pretty cool off-road. Is a little steep on the price, in my opinion, but I would say that if you like off-roading and stuff like that, it might be a worthy price to pay for what you're getting. JB700 in the middle goes for $350,000. This thing I would not recommend buying. It's not the actual weaponized version, so the guns do not work on it, and the weaponized version is just much cooler. We also have the Inventor Cockpit Blackfin on the left here, one of the better sounding cars in the game, $695,000 for that. Not much in the way of customization, but like I said, it is really good sounding. It's also pretty fun to drive for being in the muscle car category as well. So I would say I kind of do recommend buying it. It is a removed vehicle as well, so overall I would say I recommend it. The HSW vehicle at the test track this week is the Sterling GT, so if you're interested in that, it is available here for $2,111,000, which is kind of a lot of money, but not too terrible for what you're getting, all things considered, I would say. All right, within Simeon's, we got some good removed vehicles, starting off with the Grotti Cheetah on the left here. This thing is going for $650,000. I personally love this thing, though I can't really recommend it for that amount of money. I just don't really think it's that worth it, unless you absolutely love the Cheetah like I do. So if you like it a lot and you want to give it a shot, $650K, it's not like it's a ton of money. It's definitely a little too expensive for what you're getting, but yeah, I would say for most people, you're going to want to avoid it, honestly. Also got the Grotti GT500 here for $810,000. A lot too much money for what you're getting, unfortunately. Not much in the way of customization with this thing. Overall, performance-wise, not that amazing. It is a great looking car, though, don't get me wrong. If you got 800 grand and you really like it, I mean, definitely get it. It's not, you know, it'd be better if it was discounted, but you know, it's available. I also have the Entity XF here, of course, $795,000 for this one. I would pay that in a heartbeat. It is an OG supercar, previously and originally the fastest supercar in the game when it comes to racing. It has a little bit of customization available for it. It's a great car. It probably needs no introduction, to be honest. It's fantastic. I would buy it. I do think it is worth it, especially being removed. Also have the Weenie Dynasty here, which is 475 grand, which I just cannot see the justification for that. So I would say to avoid it personally. If you like it, don't listen, I guess. We also have the Ina Super Diamond for $250,000. This is a pretty classy car. Absolutely zip for customization, unfortunately. So that does suck. I would say for most people, it's not really going to be worth buying. But if you're a fan of, you know, removed vehicles and, you know, luxurious vehicles like this, I think it's honestly not a bad purchase for the money. In luxury autos, we got two of the vehicles we already talked about, the Annis Urus on the left and the Overclocked Autarch on the right. If you're going to buy them, don't buy them from luxury autos. There's no point. Alright, within the salvage yard, we got these three vehicles available. Unfortunately, none of them are claimable, so that's just awesome. Starting off with, you got the Declasse Mamba. In order to get this, you're going to need to complete the Duggan robbery. For the Grotti Furia, you're going to need to complete the cargo ship robbery, and for the Zaruso, you will need to complete the Gangbanger robbery. Of course, not claimable. That sucks. Within the Garment Factory, the black box file is the priority file this week, so it's going for $310,000 upon completion, which is double, which is cool. Alright guys, in the gun van location today, if you're watching this the day the video comes out, is going to be right here. It's in the bottom floor of this parking garage here on the map. And within the gun van this week, we have the El Strickler Tactical SMG, which you should buy if you don't have it. We have the Compact EMP Launcher, which kind of sucks. We also have the Stun Gun, which is, it's okay. Heavy Sniper's free this week, and so is the minigun, which is cool. So if you don't have either of those, you should come here and get them this week for sure. We also have the Nightstick available. Throwables, we have grenades, pipe bombs, and tear gas. And the grenades, pipe bombs, tear gas, and the body armor this week are all going to be 30% off. And as far as the weapons go as well, the Compact EMP Launcher is also 30% off this week. Next up, we got your time trials. Your RC Bandito for today is Construction Site 1. Your Junk Energy for today is Sewer System. Your regular time trial is Storm Drain, and your HSW time trial is, of course, North Chumash to Palomino Highlands. So it's going to start right here, and it's going to end at the very bottom of this road right across here. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys enjoyed the video or you learned something, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Consider subscribing to my channel. If you guys are new, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.